Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Chicago. We're up here in Lincoln Park. I like how the sun hits the fire escapes there. I notice people stop here sometimes and take photos. Here's the Mies van der Rohe building. This is 2400 Lakeview. This is Fullerton. This is a beautiful building here. We're right near Clark and Fullerton, the Five Guys there. Look at the Art Deco, and you can see the detailing here. Hey, we'll let people file in here. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in here. Welcome. Happy Friday before Memorial Day here. Look at this Art Deco building here on Fullerton. There's Clark and Fullerton. No left turn on the Clark Street. Wrigley Field, 1.75 miles there. Everybody always tries to make left turns here, and the horns go all night. But look at those fire escapes. Look at those amazing fire escapes. Like I said before, I notice people stop and take pictures there. But hey, we got beautiful sunshine, people in shorts. It's still a little cool. It's still like 55 degrees, but maybe we'll warm up to 60. Hey, Chris, how you doing then? Really, Julie Reed. Yeah, good afternoon there. Sharon, how you doing there? David, tuning in from Compton. That's great. California. Yeah, DGIF. No left turns. Yeah. You got to be really careful there because, you know, they got the automated cameras there, and they'll just send you a ticket in the mail, you know, and they'll get your license plate. You know, it's another peril of driving. They've been lowering the speed limits in all these streets, and so the people are getting speeding tickets. It's very frustrating. But but I don't drive, so one of the benefits of not driving, here's the petitions, wait for the left turns. I'm just going to head to the lake. I'm just going to, you know, I was going to head maybe to Castaways, but it's not going to open until tomorrow. Castaways is the beach house there at North Avenue Beach. They're going to open it for the summer season, but I just checked their webpage. It might be open tonight, but I don't think it'll be open now. And if anybody knows different, let me know. But I think it's going to open tomorrow, Castaways. There's all kinds of stuff going on this weekend. We were already talking about it. I found out something new that I didn't know was going on. They're going to have, starting tonight, Belmont and Sheffield up there by the Vic Theater. We go through there a lot. The Belmont stop there on the red line and brown line there, purple line. They're going to have a Memorial Day fest there in Lakeview. So maybe on TikTok tonight, maybe we'll just cruise up there and see what it looks like. They'll probably have the street blocked off at Belmont and Sheffield. They'll probably Belmont will still be working. They'll probably just be Sheffield will be shut down. So we'll check it out, and then tomorrow we might head down to the Mole de Mayo Fest over Mayo de Mayo. It's not Cinco de Mayo. It's Mayo de Mayo. Mayo de Mole there in Pilsen. I said it wrong. Mayo to Mole. There's a Mole festival, the Mole sauce. And I know not all the Mole sauces have chocolate in it, but a lot of the Mole sauces have chocolate and spices. And we forget that chocolate comes from the Americas, just like potatoes and tomatoes and corn and all these other things that they didn't have in Europe. So we're always like, how could they have the Irish potato famine before the potato was imported from North America? How could they think of Italian food without the tomato? How is that possible? What did they eat before Columbus? You know, isn't that amazing? Chris, how you doing there? Yeah, Naya, how you doing? Mole de Mayo, yeah, we'll try to check that out tomorrow. I might not get down there until dinner time because I'll probably cruise down there, and then we'll head over towards Suenos. I'm not going in Suenos. There's still tickets available. I guess Shakira's going to be here tomorrow and a bunch of other big name acts. And the AC/DC will be at Soldier Field, and they're going to shoot fireworks at Navy Pier, so I'll try to stick around down there. I might take a break and recharge in the office before it gets dark. But I bet you the Riverwalk will be hopping tomorrow. It'll probably only get to 60 degrees. Maybe we'll run into Christopher Dodson tomorrow. Maybe not. I know he's traveling. No pressure. You know, he's going to do what he's going to do. And I want to see his perspective on Chicago as a New Yorker. But, yeah, how you doing there? You saw tickets? $199. That's not too bad. I mean, it's a lot of acts. Poland, how you doing there? Buen Camino Peregrino. Poland, how you doing there? Yeah, I like the flag. Yeah, no left turns. Toronto's tuning in there. Neville 6000. Yeah, happy Memorial Day. Thanks for tuning in from Canada there. Appreciate that. I missed that there, Neville. And Gallery PSP, thanks for the waving there. Yeah, the Chicago XGG, how you doing there? I'm trying to catch up on the comments here, and they keep Eric, how you doing there? Yeah, it's nice, sunny sunshine, looks great there. Yeah, Rob on the road there. David, Matt, thanks for tuning in there. Yeah, we got bikes. Good. So if I missed your comment there, we're trying to catch up with the comments here. Yeah, I'm just gonna head to the lake. If you want to see Lake Michigan, yeah, we got beautiful blue skies, nice bright sunshine. We're getting the same sun now, believe it or not. We're getting the same sun you get in late July. You know, we're only a month away from the summer solstice, the longest day of the year, June 21st or June 20th, whatever it is. This is May the 23rd, 2025. This is Lincoln Park in Chicago. We have about 55 degrees. Not a cloud in the sky. Hope you're out here enjoying it. We'll get some better views. I'll just walk by the lake and we'll walk back by the harbor. We'll see how many boats are in. We'll see if all the boats are in Diversey Harbor. There was somebody casting this morning at the casting pier. Actually using it like they were supposed to. The North Pond Nature Sanctuary's here. We'll see if we see any ducks or turtles, or it's nice to see everything green and summery here, even though it's not hot yet, but people are in shorts. Yeah. Silver Dome, really? That's good. Concert at Silver Dome. How you doing there, Matt? Yeah, 199. Yeah, there's still tickets available for Suenos. Thanks for looking that up there, Naya. So here, this is Fullerton and Stockton. Here, we'll get you a view of the North Pond. There's the Peggy Noterbart Nature Museum. Hey, we got some geese here. Look at this pure, beautiful scene here. There you can see over to these buildings here, North Pond. People are sitting on the benches here. Yeah, let's head over to Lake Michigan. Let's see what it looks like here. It'll take me about 10 minutes to get over there. Hey, people are riding bikes, walking the dog. Yeah, spectacular. Yeah, it's a nice area. Yeah, this is we're north of the Lincoln Park Zoo, so about 3 miles north of the Central Business District there. I live up here, so it's easy. I'm working from home today, and yeah, look at these. Is that crepe myrtle or is that dogwood? What is that? These are blooming here. Yeah, we'll walk through. There's a little nature area here by the Peggy Noterbart Nature Museum here, the bird garden. So you got some paths you can walk through there. And I'll just show you this little bridge. We walked across it this morning on TikTok and went up to Mariano's. I got me some good food. I got me some baby back ribs, man. I'm gonna fry them up, they'll be good. I'm on baby back. See, we'll go down this path. We'll check out the flowers here. There's some birds. I just want to show you this little bridge here. Yeah, walking the dogs. Look how nice the shadows look. Yeah, the dogs are checking it out. Yeah, get some ribs there. Grim Evil, how you doing there? Yeah, Grim Evil's gonna grill out too. Yeah, we're getting ready for Memorial Day weekend here. Yeah, here's the butterfly garden, Peggy Noterbart Nature Museum. Look at this beautiful scene here. They got that little Jenga sculpture there. Usually they set out tables. Yeah, people are sitting out there having a picnic lunch there. And then look at this view here. We'll show you this bridge here. There's a little flower garden here. People are sitting on the benches. Isn't this great? We got the whole summer ahead of us here. The unofficial start to summer here, Memorial Day. Here's the casting pier. There you can see the skyline over there by Clark and Fullerton. And here's this bridge. Here's this beautiful bridge. Peggy Noterbart Nature Museum. We walk across to this little footbridge. And yeah, I got to show you these beautiful flowers here. Yeah, they're walking through there. Look at the beautiful yellow, purple flowers here. Woody Wickham Butterfly Garden. So you can go indoors, you see the butterflies in there. See all these butterflies flying around. We got reruns where we go through there. I want to stay outside today because it's just beautiful. We go inside there in the wintertime, you know. But here, oh, it smells very fragrant here. It smells like perfume, the natural perfume of these flowers. Look at this. We've been waiting all year for this. Look at that. We got butterflies, real butterflies flying here. What plants attract butterflies? Yeah, and they get this little, it goes up to this fountain. Yeah, happy Friday weekend there. Yeah. How you doing, everybody here? So I'll show you this little frog pond, and then we'll head around here. Yeah, people are sitting on the benches here. Oh, we lost this tree. There was a tree we lost here. But yeah, there's this little fountain here. I won't go all the way over there. We went here this morning. There, you see how they're aerating the water there. Yeah, we'll head back. We'll head back through these flowers here. Yeah, Michael, Rob on the road. Yeah, it's a nice oasis in the city. Yeah, that's why my father says, he always told me, because I grew up in the country, and he goes, you wouldn't like living in a city unless I live next to the lake and the park here, and he might be right. It's a nice refuge here. But we got parks all throughout the city, and we try to visit them all. Here, we'll walk on this little, see people sitting on the benches here, and you can see the North Pond. Yeah, sometimes I would sit on these benches here and just relax. Yeah, it looks awesome. It is awesome. How you doing? Yeah, morning. Hey, we got squirrels. We got squirrels all in these trees. There's a pigeon up there. But here, we'll keep going here. There's this bridge. We'll go across this bridge. So let's head over to the lake. I know I'm talking up the lake, and I need to actually go there. I'm lollygagging here. This is Peggy Noterbart. Deconstructivism. I think that's what they call this architectural style. Okay. So you can go up there. That door is locked. You can go out. It's hard to go in there. And it's actually part of the museum. We'll walk down. There's a squirrel. How you doing there, squirrel? What do you say? You hiding? Hey, what you want to be on TikTok? Yeah. How you doing there? You enjoying this day? Hey, there's your friend there. Look at all these squirrels. Hey, you're hopping up the vine there. You're beautiful. Yeah, here's your friend there. How you doing? Oh, you got a nut there. Look at this squirrel's eating something there. Oh, that's good eating there. Yeah, see, the squirrels are gonna have a good weekend. Like I said, I would never be able to get that close to a squirrel in the country. It's just these are city squirrels, and they associate humans with food because so many people feed them, and so they're really not threatened by humans. They do run away from the dogs. They do know enough to get away from the dogs, and they kind of taunt the dogs and run up the trees and mess with them. Dogs can never get close to them. Yeah, the squirrel. You seen that mat there? New York, yeah. So here's this little nature path they have around the, see, you can go up on the top there if you go in the museum. You got this wild mustard. I really wish they would open the Peggy Noterbart Nature Museum, or no, not that. The Caldwell Lily Pond. I really wish they would open the Caldwell Lily Pond, because the Peggy Noterbart Nature Museum's open. There's a Caldwell Lily Pond over there, and they had it closed. Yeah, we're gonna hear this all weekend. Thanks to all the motorcycles for making noise. You get to hear them all weekend on Lakeshore Drive. Middle of the night, blaring their radios, Can-Ams, convertibles. Sometimes there'll be 100 people in a pack, motorcycles riding on the sidewalk, running people off the sidewalk. They literally do that. They'll run people off the sidewalk because they just think it's funny. And then they, wonder why people secretly rejoice when they see them wrecking on Instagram videos. And here's the Peggy Noterbart Nature Museum entrance. There's the buffalo. Hey, here's the buffalo. Yeah, get brunch, make a meal. Yeah, the motorcycles, they're always touring around. You can go to Sturgis. Well, it's just a sign of summer here. Diversey Nature Trails, that's what they call this. But that's a sculpture to a buffalo. And look at this thing. Yeah, let's head over here. Pete. Yeah, Pete's tuning in from Hazlet, Michigan. Thanks for tuning in there. Everybody knows Pete. Yeah, Carl, we're showing you the Lincoln Park here. See, what else did you say there? Yeah, usually, well, okay, the reason you see that so much, especially with my live streams, is I work downtown. So a lot of times, what I do at lunch is stuff that's easy for me to stream when I'm by the office there. I work near Lake in Michigan. So we do the river walk, we do the bean, and yeah, all that stuff like you said. That's why I'm taking advantage of this Friday for Memorial Day when we're working from home here. We'll try to get across the street here. Did the light just change? Yeah, let's get across the street here. So Lincoln Park Zoo's here. There'll be some nice views to the John Hancock. We'll cross here. So here, this is Cannon Drive. All the traffic coming off of Lakeshore Drive. I'll talk about this obelisk here. See, look at this nice view. You get all. We're like 2 miles north of the John Hancock, 900 North Michigan. Usually I walk down there. We were there yesterday. We went through there. Hey, here's some school buses. I guess there's some field trips at the Nature Museum. We've shown this before. This obelisk signifies in 1871 the Great Chicago Fire destroyed over a third of the city, the downtown and the north side. And this obelisk represents where the fire finally ended. Because in 1871, this was the lake shore. This was the shore of Lake Michigan. And the winds blew it north and northwest until it pretty much ran out of city to burn. This was the northern limits of the city in 1871. And you see how much land was pushed out to create DeSable Lakeshore Drive and Diversey Harbor. And the old maps show that this used to be the shore of Lake Michigan. So now the shore of Lake Michigan's about 1,000 feet that way. And this is Diversey Harbor. Used to be part of the lake. They enclosed it off and made it a harbor for protected boats. Hey, that's a nice bike there. You get that Dutch bike there. It's got the wheelbarrow in the front. So they widened the sidewalk on this side. They don't really want people walking on that side. Hey, that's a cute dog there. There's people jogging, heading to the lake. Yeah, a lot of changes. Lots of changes. A lot of... Northerly Island is a man-made island. Montrose Beach is a man-made beach. They pushed that way out there, out into the lake. But look, looks like a lot of boats are in the harbor here. Here's Diversey Harbor. It's looking up towards Lakeview. So here's Fullerton. The lake looks beautiful today. When you got blue skies, the lake will be a deep blue there. There's the view to the John Hancock. To the left, that's the St. Regis. And then all the way to the right is the tippy top of the Trump Tower there. And then further to the right is the One Chicago Tower. But then the John Hancock's the black one, the tallest one. And then that's the tower, the power plant tower for the Lincoln Park Zoo. So we'll go under this underpass under Lakeshore Drive. There's a mural there. And then people are already out at the lake there. But yeah, on the way back, we'll probably walk past the harbor here. We got 12:14, 55 degrees here. I'll cross the street after this car here. Yeah, we got the light now. Toronto. Oh, really? Toronto had a fire? I'll look into that. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Toronto, you have those huge barrier islands that kind of protect the harbor there. Toronto's such a beautiful city there, the CN Tower, and you have an impressive skyline like Chicago. People often confuse Toronto for Chicago and vice versa. You remember the Matrix movies, they used the Toronto skyline and kind of mixed it with Chicago subway stations. Here's, yeah, look at these murals underneath the Lakeshore Drive here. It always reminds me of like amoebas and algae and ecology, and that's what it is. It's an artist for the Peggy Nodebart Nature Museum. And I like, this has been here for several years. And here's where the divvy bikes. So if you just joined with Chicago, we're gonna head to Lake Michigan here. Yeah, there's a lot of soldiers here, or memorials of soldiers. Leslie, thanks for tuning in from Utah. How you doing there? Yeah, Utah's got a nice lake there, Salt Lake. It's drying up, right? Yeah, it's an underpass. Yeah, so this is the underpass at Fullerton under Lakeshore Drive. Here's the theater on the lake. They got a restaurant there, and see, we'll show you. There's a really nice view to the Chicago skyline. We'll show you the lake here. This theater on the lake, they built this over 100 years ago. It was a tuberculosis hospital. At the time there, they thought, like 150 years ago, they thought the cool lake breezes help people with tuberculosis, but it was more complex than that. And that's why they got this statue here. But look at all the people on the lakefront. Everybody's coming to the lake here. This will be going on all weekend here. I'm sure it'll get more crowded when the beach is officially open tomorrow. Then you could, you know, people have been swimming at the beach. It's just there'll be lifeguards officially. The unofficial start to summer here, Memorial Day. Hey, look at this group. They got the flag there. What's that say? Yeah, I agree. Help out your veterans. If you see any veterans, I remember being in Denver on Memorial Day. There was many people claiming to be veterans. Some of them are right, some of them are just claiming to be. But yeah, if you could help out a veteran, or Memorial Day's mainly for the you know, we thank everybody in the military that serving. My father was a veteran of Vietnam War, and but Memorial Day is mainly about, that's what this is. I think they're doing a walk for Memorial Day. They got the flag. Thank you, veterans. Thank you so much. There's a veterans march here, so that's what it is. Good. So that's what this is. Thanks for letting me know here. This is great. So that's great. Thanks for doing the walk here. And yeah, see, people are already celebrating Memorial Day, but Memorial Day is mainly for the people that have fallen, the people that lost their lives in all these wars in America. So here, we'll commemorate here. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, then thank you. Thanks, eggs there, XGG Sniffa. So here. Yeah, Chicago's a top destination. Yeah, that's good. I mean, at least, you know, we'll see if we get we'll see how tourism does. Hey, they got the flags out here. Celebrate Memorial Day. Look here, Lake Michigan. Look at the beautiful blue waters of Lake Michigan, the Friday before Memorial Day. Look at this beautiful skyline view we got here. This is at Fullerton, and they added this land. Even since I moved to Chicago in 1999, this land wasn't here even in 1999. They added this about 2010. And look, this is great here. All these people here, maybe they'll open this up. They sometimes have a beer garden. But here, support and defend here. Yeah, all the veterans here and people supporting veterans in Memorial Day. Here's a troop. Here's like a platoon flag. Look at that. Yeah, they added this land. I don't know if you would call it a landfill, but here it is, 956 here. Thank you, that's great. Very nice. Happy Memorial Day. Yeah. All these people out here with the people with the flags and the dogs. Yeah, look at that. People doing this Veterans Memorial Day walk here. So here, look at this nice view here. We'll frame this nice view. There, so you see the Sears Towers on the right, and then Lake Point Towers far on the far left. You see the John Hancock and all the other towers there. It's looking towards, this is North Avenue Beach. So a lot of times we walk down North Avenue Beach. And Castaways, the Shore Club is at 10th there. Castaways is there. There's Castaways where that seagull's flying. And that's that boat. It's a boathouse and they're going to open that tomorrow. Tomorrow's Castaways. Is there people up there? I can't tell if there's people up there. Maybe they're opening it up today. Maybe they're getting it ready. But there's Navy Pier. But hey, Lake Michigan's looking nice. There's the water intake crib. That's 2 miles out. That's where they have get our drinking water out there. Okay, so yeah, this land used to be water, and so yeah, they did have to fill this in. The water used to come up almost up to the road there, and they formalized this shore. They drove a bunch of piles. Well, we got 12:21. Yeah, we'll walk along the shore here. 2,000, yeah. Hey Lorraine, how you doing there, MD? Yeah, so MD, you want to do a prediction? You sound like you're like hoping for like something bad to happen. These people don't want anything bad to happen this weekend, so let's stay positive, you know. And I know people like to make themselves feel better by looking down. We do have horrible crime in the city, but it's nothing to be proud of. And I know you're not hoping for that, but yes, I'm sure. You know, I've lived in this city for 26 years. It's hard to watch the news sometimes. There's been ubiquitous violence, senseless violence for 26 years across multiple presidential administrations. You know, Trump didn't wave a magic wand and make it better. We're still having the same problems we had under Biden and Bush and Obama and Reagan. You know, NRA doesn't care. NRA doesn't care. They just want to sell pew-pew weapons and make money off of their stocks, and they'll come up with these slogans that people don't kill people, or guns don't kill people, only people. But the weapons certainly help. And I'm not trying to make light of it. I just, you know, I've been live streaming for 2 years. We'll get more comments like that. People get all smug, and you know, I know that's not your intention. Hey, 1960 and 1995, Denise, how you doing there? Yeah, you know, the media, you know, if it bleeds, it leads. You know, just like, you know, do you own Apple stock? Are you happy that the president's like attacking another American company? And even though they build their product overseas, I know, but they're not the only ones. Even MAGA hats are produced overseas. So maybe he can put tariffs on his own hats. Hey, she's getting in the water. Yeah, she's She's touched the water. See how cold it is. Yeah. How's the water? Is it cold, or is it neutral? Neutral, not too bad. I think it's warming up. I think it's about 55 degrees there. Yeah. So hey, thanks for saying hello here. So here, let's keep on going here. Hey, Julie Reed there, or Lorraine, Michael, D. Michael, all the Michaels there. Chris, thanks for doing that. Yeah, you know, it's just amazing. You know, no matter, you know, I'll film like the lake or the zoo or the flower, and you know, people just love to bring that up, and I'm like, well, what's your point? You know, bad things happen. There's wars going on. Look what happened in Washington, D.C. You know, are they going to taunt people in Washington, D.C. because there was a hate crime that happened? I mean, I don't know what people really expect. You know, we got these veterans here. You know, that didn't faze them. You know, we got all these veterans here in Chicago. You know, there are people supporting the veterans here. You know, but it could be like bots. It could be just people trying to cause division. You know, see, look, they're handing out water here. So this is like a major. Yeah, look at these people are walking along the lakefront, raising money there for the veterans. I think that's what's going on. It's like a charity walk. 51 degrees. Thanks, Julie, for looking that up there. Yeah, Chicago is too expensive. A lot of people moved away, but where are you going to go? It's expensive in Florida. It's expensive in Texas. It's, you know, Austin is expensive. You know, taxes are high, but, you know, what can I do about it? I can't do anything about it either. I know you're just venting. Thanks for tuning in here. Chicago is expensive. My biggest cost is my housing. I can't afford a car. I make a good wage too. I was talking to one of my bosses, and he's like, oh, my son has 2 Teslas. I'm like, I can't even afford a car because I work for you. And it's mainly because the costs have, and I could, but I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay the expense. I'm saving so much money by not owning a car in the city, you know, so I can do other things. And yeah, it limits my. Look at the socks. There's some nice socks there. Yeah, look at the patriotic socks there. Here, we'll show this. Sunken. Yeah, look at the army there. You got the flag there. Look at that. People got the backpacks here. Yeah, look at this. Look at that double backpacks here. That's great. Look at all these people supporting veterans, supporting the military and Memorial Day, remembering people that fell. Here's the bike path. See how they separate the bike path from the running path. This is nice. This is a nice, peaceful spot here. I think they show the artists here. You got the sunken Buddhist heads. You see these in others. We saw this in Uptown, and there was other areas. This is one that remains. Here it is. It's Indira Freitas Johnson. 10,000 ripples there. 2016. It's been here. This is a sculpture here by. You can see it from Lakeshore Drive when you drive by. When you cross Fullerton, look to the right. You'll see these sunken. I call them Buddhist Zen heads, but it might be like. I don't even know if it's Buddhist. It just I like the circle of it. It's an art exhibit here, and see it's right near the lake here. Okay, so Fort Sheridan is about 20 miles north of where I'm at. That's a beautiful area. They got bluffs. Yeah, look at this. I'm glad we came over here. Look at the flags here. All these different troops, these groups of people raising money here, doing the walk along the lake here for Memorial Day. Look at that. Yeah, how you doing? That's great. Yeah, I got the flags here. So here we'll walk across the bike path here. Gotta make sure there's no bikes coming here. Yeah, look at all these people in the military fatigues. 30 miles north. Yeah, it's even further. It's up in Lake County. So it's up near Chris there. I know Chris goes to the lake there. Lake County is the county north of Cook County. Cook County is the county that Chicago's in. But it's beautiful. They got bluffs and they got historical buildings. Fort Sheridan. There's Great Lakes Naval Academies up there. And that would be a beautiful place to visit for Memorial Day weekend. I know they're having Fleet Week in New York City. And Jimmy Fallon had some funny anecdotes about that on the show because there was people from the military sitting in his audience. Jimmy Fallon there, they showed how the Army's been around for 250 years, the Navy's been around for 250 years, and then the Space Force has been around for 6 years. So he's like, congratulations, Space Force, you've been around 6 years. Yeah, happy birthday, Denise there. Denise is going to have a birthday tomorrow. That's good. May the 24th. Yeah, look at this boat. Look at this boat going out into the lake there. Yeah, boating season's all ahead of us. Oh, we're getting foggy here. Why does that happen? I zoomed in, it got all blurry. Look at that speedboat heading out there. Came out of Diversey Harbor. We'll show you that. We'll go right over there. Hey, happy birthday, Denise. Early birthday. And everybody else having a birthday. Yeah. And skyline there. Yeah, thanks for watching here. So we'll head towards this sculpture. It looks like a windmill, but it's a sculpture. It's called the Chevron. We've gone up there before. That's the mouth of Diversey Harbor where this boat came out. Look at the beautiful Lake Michigan here. Not a cloud in the sky. And hopefully this pretends. I don't mind it being 60. To me, this is ideal weather. It's too cool to swim. It's not really beach weather, but it's beautiful walking weather. It's like a crisp fall day. And with the sunshine, we get this bright sunshine. What is that? What is that way out there? Is that a sailboat? What is that? I guess that's a sailboat. Can you tell what that is? I can't zoom in any further. Yeah, thanks everybody for wishing Denise a happy birthday there. That's good. So yeah, Chris, all of Fort Sheridan has been converted into houses. And, oh, hold on a second here. But most of the buildings remain. It's a museum. It's like a museum town. Yeah, check out Fort Sheridan there. So here, yeah, we got milder temperatures. See, positive, negatives, everything. Like I don't even have to run the air conditioner. Even though it's 2 days, we got 80 degrees. The walls are so thick in my old building, it was still like cold. It was even though it was 80 degrees, it felt like the air conditioner was on, even though it wasn't, because it wasn't that humid yet. Yeah, you can imagine I get requests all the time. Chicago is so vast. Yes, I would love to do a video of Fort Sheridan. If we do it, I'll be sure to let you know. I don't get up that way. I have to take the metro. Again, it's 30 miles north of where I'm at. I don't get paid by TikTok or the Chicago Tourism Board to do this. I don't expect you to pay me. And I got a day job, and I got to do a trip to Texas with my dad so he can visit his grandkids for Father's Day. So we'll get up there eventually. Maybe one day I'll go up there with Chris and we'll go over there like we went down to Pullman. But, I appreciate people giving me suggestions. That's what you want to see. I would want to see it too. This is my channel. And we'll put it on the list with the 10,000 other places that people have requested me to go, and we'll get to it eventually. Maybe Chris could stream it. Some other people live up there. We got more Chicago live streamers. And I know you're just making a request, but it becomes stressful for me because every time I go, people ask me to go to the south or west side or go 30 miles north or film something they want to see. And I'm not the tourism bureau here. I'm just a man walking around, a lazy man. I'm very lazy. People don't think I'm lazy because I walk so much, but this is the one thing I can do, just walk around. Just let me have a stressful Friday and not like try to travel and get in traffic. You got to get in traffic, take the metro. Even the metro, you got to walk a while because it doesn't drop you off right where you go into it. And look at this boat. Look at this boat heading down here. So this is the mouth of Diversey Harbor. Diversey. Montrose is north of us. Don't ask me to go to Montrose. That'll be your next question. Can you please go to Montrose? Can you please see what I want to see? Here's this boat heading in there. No, I know you appreciate me. People are just making suggestions. I know this is all... Chicago's vast. There's many things to see here. And I haven't even got up to the Baha'i Temple. Jennifer, you should eat. She filmed the Baha'i Temple. That's north of Evanston there. And Kenilworth or one of those... Winnetka, one of those places. You can take the purple line up there. Take the last stop. See how this boat, they have a traffic light to let you in and out of Diversey Harbor because it's one way in, one way out. It's kind of a narrow bridge. But here we'll head over to the Chevron there. Oh, that's good. Thanks. Yeah, Christopher, you understand. Hey, Christopher, I saw some of the parades. You've been filming a lot of parades there. That's great. And I hope you have safe travels there. Like I said, I generally, I'm working from home today, so I'm saving up energy. You know how much energy it takes live streaming because you're talking and you're not just like, I'm getting exhausted by walking so much. I'm generally going to try to go down to Pilsen about dinner time tomorrow, weather permitting. Look how this boat's backing up. Why is it backing up? And, maybe I'll be by Navy Pier when they're doing fireworks. Maybe I won't. I don't want to commit to anything. I would like to run into you this weekend, but if it happens, it happens. If not, we'll figure it out. And I don't even know what you might have. You might be meeting people, doing your own stuff. I don't even know if you're live streaming or not. I'd like to see your perspective of Chicago. Look at this boat here. Oh, they had to put the antenna down. The antenna was gonna hit. See how low the bridge is. And remember when the lake used to be higher, it was hard for the boats to get in and out, and then it got really low. So they put down the sensing antenna here. See, we'll cross this bridge here. We'll head back up to the bike path. Yeah, we're north of North Avenue Beach there. How you doing there, Monroe Gym Zone? Yeah, the lakefront. Yeah, Chicago's very big. No, yeah, I know. Yeah, see, yeah. Just check out what's convenient there. You know, I'm sure you'll be in the downtown area there. Get an overview. See, people are still walking here. Why'd they put this fencing up here? This fencing is messing up with the view. This fencing didn't used to be here. Why they put this fencing up here? Here, we'll get across here. So the lake fluctuates due to the amount of ice cover we get in the wintertime. And in the last, since I've been in Chicago for 26 years, sometimes the lake is really high and it lasts for years. And sometimes the lake is really low and it lasts for years. It depends on the rainfall, if we have drought. These lakes are giant puddles left over from the glacial melt 10,000 years ago from the glaciers. It rearranged how all the rivers flowed. Yes, there is some little seepage from they reversed the Chicago River and the Cowsag, and even by Evanston it flows out, but it's just only like 0.0000% 1% of the water. Most of it evaporates. Most of it evaporates, and but it's a natural thing like anything else that fluctuates. And here we'll head over to the Chevron thing. No, there could be a natural spring. I think, okay, so there's 5 Great Lakes, and there's rivers that flow into them from all sides, from Canada and the United States, and then 4 of the Great Lakes flow over the Niagara Falls, and then they goes into Lake Ontario, and then it goes into the St. Lawrence Seaway. It's this giant watershed, and Chicago is the intersection of the Mississippi watershed. There's a canal that connects it to St. Louis through the Illinois River, and actually the water flows that way. And ships can actually go from New Orleans up to Mississippi, up to Illinois, through Chicago, through the Great Lakes. You can either go through the Erie Canal and go to the Hudson there in New York, or you can go out through Canada. There's a canal that takes you around to Niagara Falls, and then you can get to St. Lawrence Seaway and go out to the Atlantic. And it's a very important water connection. Here's the waterway. Here's the Chevron sculpture here at the mouth of Diversey Harbor. There's the, oh, they're filming there. They got a boom here. We got some camera crew here, so they're probably taking advantage of this skyline here. Looks like they're doing some filming here for some show here. There's the Chicago skyline here. There are lighthouses, but I don't think they're used that much. There is a lighthouse at the mouth of Monroe Harbor. There's a lighthouse right there, and that one was used. I don't know if it still is used. There's a lighthouse in Evanston that you can tour. That would be another thing to live stream. Chris, do you know about the lighthouse in Evanston that you can tour? I went there with my mother and father, but it was years ago. My mother passed away in 2011, so it was before then. Here's the Chevron. See, it's not really a windmill. It just looks like a windmill from far away. It's this sculpture. And, oh, that Native American monument. Yeah, it's just a general romanticized version of a Native American Indian chief on his horse there. Maybe it's supposed to represent somebody from the Illini Confederacy. The Illini Confederacy was decimated first by the Iroquois and then European diseases, and then along with the Potawatomi, any remnants probably had to join other tribes and merge with other tribes and go to Oklahoma on their own Trail of Tears. Some of the Potawatomi went to Council Bluffs in Iowa after the 1830 Indian Removal Act. America, the United States, has gone through success. It's not just the migrant crisis going on now. They treated the Native Americans. They always were excluded from America. They weren't. Some Native Americans didn't get the right to vote until 1920, same time as even after women got to vote. You know, the same time that women got to vote. Many Native Americans, and they still couldn't vote. Had probably problems voting, just like Jim Crow in the South there, until the 60s, because the reservation system. But here's the skyline of Chicago. I think that statue was from the World's Columbian Exposition, and it was a romanticized, idealized version of Native Americans made by Europeans. Here's the skyline of Chicago. The Sears Tower is on the right, the tallest building is the John Hancock. Now the John Hancock is not as tall as the Sears Tower, but we're closer to it. We're about 3 miles from the John Hancock, and we're about 4 miles from the Sears Tower, and that's why the John Hancock looks taller there. And how you doing there, Danny? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, thanks everybody. Oh, it's beautiful at night, yeah. Oh, Paul Revere, yeah. Now it's not Paul Revere. It was a indigenous Native American Indian, and there's another statue up there. Yeah, Paul Revere. We do have a statue to Nathaniel Hale. We show that often. The Columbus statue was removed, and that's still controversial, I know. And I'm generally not for the removal. The only statues that it doesn't bother me they remove are the Confederate statues. I have no sympathy for the Confederate generals, even though I have ancestors that fought on both sides of that war. Most of those statues were put up by the daughters of the Confederacy, and it was to intimidate people in the Jim Crow South. And so I have no problem with those statues, the lost cause myth. Now we do have a statue to grant. I don't mind statues to Northern generals, but even those are controversial. Even Fort Sheridan, because just like Custer, George Custer, who died in Custer's Last Stand, he was a Union general that after the Civil War he went to fight Indians. He went to fight the Lakota Nation, the Sioux, and Sheridan was in charge of the Bureau of the Interior. The War Department at that time was at war with the Native Americans, certain Western tribes that weren't already assimilated or in Oklahoma. But yeah, this is this statue here. See, it doesn't even say a name or anything. I looked into it. I don't think, okay, here's what it says here. It says a signal of peace, a gift of Lambert Tree. So Lambert Tree gave this to the city of Chicago, but that's not who it is. And it could be a Illini chief. It could have been Chicago or Big Snake, or it could be Mukatama Shokiakayak, who we call Chief Blackhawk for the Chicago Blackhawks. But again, that was mainly from a World War II American division or fighting group. They used that as their logo, and Blackhawk was the name the Americans gave the Mukatama Shokiakayak, who was Sauk and Fox. And that goes back to the Black Hawk War. Abraham Lincoln fought in that on the side of the Americans. And Abraham Lincoln's grandfather was killed by Native Americans when they were on the frontier at the Falls of the Ohio. That happened in the 1790s, I think, before Abraham Lincoln was born. His father almost was killed, but his brother saved him. And they were literally on the frontier. That's how even Abraham Lincoln's grandfather, whose name was Abraham, moved out with right after Daniel Boone blazed the Wilderness Trail. They went straight into Kentucky, and that's why Abraham Lincoln was born in Kentucky on the edge of the frontier in 1810 or 1809. Here we'll head under Diversey Harbor here, or we're heading under DeSable Lakeshore Drive, and this is the entrance to Diversey Harbor. And actually, I'm on the wrong side, but here we can head around. We can circle around here. Oh yeah. It's a blessing and a curse. I'm blessed where on my maternal grandfather's side, I have ancestors that go back to Jamestown. I have ancestors that go back to possibly the Roanoke colony, which was destroyed. And because I have ancestors that go back so far back, I have Indian traders, European Indian traders that traded with the Cherokee and the Creeks and the Yuchi and the Catawba. And because of that, they intermarried with powerful Native American matriarchs, and it was at that time it was considered a political alliance, and they got weapons and they could defend themselves against other tribes and stuff. So I have Melungeon ancestry, but that's very complex as well, and I won't bore you with the details. Just watched the Reverend about the bear being, attacking the guy out there in the frontier. Yeah, come up here in the summer there. So, historically, the largest Native American tribe that was in the Chicago area was the Potawatomi. The Potawatomi lived in this area, but there was also, before, when the French got here, see, Native American history is complex because the territories of the tribes shifted from warfare between the tribes and warfare between the colonial powers. Like the Shawnee moved around a lot. The Potawatomi were forced out of this area by the Iroquois during the Beaver Wars in the 1650s and 70s, and the Illini Confederacy fought with the Iroquois as well. And that was even before, that was when the French were here. The French were the first colonial power to it. There was the Faux Sox tribe, there was the Illini Confederacy, there was the Miami tribe in Indiana, there's the Menominee tribe, which ended up in Wisconsin, was around here. And there was also the Michigama, and there was other ones that really no longer exist. They had to merge with other tribes. But Native American history is very complex. I've spent years researching this stuff, and I still learn new stuff to this day. And it's fascinating. It's largely left out of most of history books. It's really hard finding good information. There's so much bad information. There's so much erroneous information, and history's taught by the victors. And so we got the British version of American history instead of the, you can read Howard Zinn's book, but there's other better books even in his. He gets some things wrong too. Hollandaise start there. Yeah, that's good, Christy. Thanks. I'm glad I learned stuff from people watching the lives there. Thanks for tuning in here. So here's Diversey Harbor. We'll just head back here. Look, it looks like almost all the boats are already in here. And you notice there's no sailboats in this harbor because of that low bridge. So sailboats are either in Belmont Harbor or the harbors downtown or going south there by Northerly Island and 41st Street Beach and stuff like that. But here's, I think Montrose Harbor, the sailboats are in there. But this is Diversey Harbor. There's Diversey streets right there. This is all Lincoln Park looking this way, and then we'll see there's the Sears Tower peeping over the Eugenie Terrace right there, and that's looking towards downtown there. Yeah, hollandaise sauce there. Yeah. Again, yes, everything's expensive. Everything's expensive, no matter what you do. I just went, would somebody that voted for the current president admit that prices are not going down, they're still going up? And yes, it's expensive to rent a boat. It's cheaper than owning a boat or buying a boat. A lot of boats are $500,000 at least. These boats. Now you can get a smaller boat like that. But yeah, you can rent boats. You can rent pontoon boats. You can rent electric boats on the river. Again, the cheapest way to get on the water is to take a cruise at Navy Pier or do a water taxi. You can get as cheap as you get a $10 10-day pass there, $25. That's 10 rides, $2.50 a piece. You can hop on the water taxi. You can take it all the way from the Loop to Chinatown. That's a long ride there. You'll get to see nice views of the downtown and the Riverwalk, and you can watch. I have live streams where we did it. Check it out. Yeah, beautiful boats there. Oh, Ojibwe. Yeah, that's great. Sarah DeMola, 6th great-grandmother, Madeline Island, northern Wisconsin. Ojibwe. Yeah, that is awesome. Thank you. And so that's another example. Just like Mukatama Shokia kayak was called Chief Blackhawk, the Ojibwe, the Americans called them the Chippewa, but they're Ojibwe. And if you ever seen a dream catcher, I think the dream catcher comes from your nation, right? And it's been appropriated. Like it cracks me up, and it shows you, I'm a white person. Us dumb white people, we make assumptions that are wrong. Like like Miley Cyrus claims that she has Cherokee ancestry, just like everybody claims they have Cherokee ancestry. Cherokees hate that. Not everybody was a Cherokee princess, but she got a dream catcher tattoo, and I'm like, that's great. She was trying to express her long distance indigenous ancestry. If you're proud of yours, I'm proud of mine. We are proud, you know, we can't deny it. You know, to deny it would be the justice to our ancestors and what they went through. And I want to tell her, I'm like, that's great, but that's, you know, you're not a Ojibwe. And we, you know, we'll see it. We'll go to all the how you doing there, people fishing? We'll go to all the street fairs and stuff. You'll see dream catchers everywhere. It's been appropriated. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, dream catchers. That's good. Hey, the Holy Ghost there. Yeah, thanks for forgiving our sins there. I appreciate it. We're absolved. Hey, look at that. Look at this boat. See this boat heading out? Why is it going that way? It can't go under that low bridge. That low bridge is Fullerton. It's just moving to another part of the harbor here. Yeah, dream catchers are nice. They're beautiful. And I guess the hippies appropriated it too. But there's Lakeview. There's Lincoln Park. That's Lincoln Park. And the Lincoln Park Zoo's down this way. Okabuki, south of Iowa. Great Lakes, that's great. Yeah. There could have been a lot. There was the Pawnee were there. Of course, the Potawatomi had to go to Council Bluffs. That was a big area for indigenous people. The Kansas tribe called the Kaw. And most people, I didn't realize this either. This is important. There was Herbert Hoover, the president of the United States. His vice president, his name was Curtis. His last name was Curtis. He was to my knowledge, he was the only indigenous vice president that we had in the United States. His name was Curtis. Now, he's controversial because he was for assimilation, and this was the time that most of the Native Americans were forced onto reservations and in Oklahoma, and there was all this assimilation pressure for them to assimilate, buy land, lose their tribal identity, which thankfully most indigenous Native Americans resisted that, held on to their cultural traditions. That's why the powwows are so important today, and the tribal attire and dance, and to maintain the original language and cultural traditions. But Curtis, you know, like at the time, even the Cherokees, some of the Cherokees assimilated and cut their hair and tried to wear European attire, and they even wore like powdered wigs and stuff, but they still had to sell their land and go to Oklahoma. And it didn't. They realized no matter how much they tried to assimilate, they still wouldn't be accepted into the country club. I don't think they would be invited to Mar-a-Lago. You know what I'm talking about, you know, even though I'm sure Mar-a-Lago would accept him now, but they wouldn't have accepted him in 1920. You know what I'm talking about. So just like African Americans and women, you know, Jewish people had trouble getting in certain country clubs. We know the bad history of America, and we got an example of it when we saw the cringe-worthy press conference with the South African president. It made me cringe. I couldn't even watch it. It made me feel icky. I was just like, anyway, we won't go into that because I know it'll just breed more people bashing me in the comments. Here's look at that. They're taking the jet skis out. This is Diversey Harbor. Welcome to Chicago. We're the Friday before Memorial Day here, and we're just checking out the beautiful sunshine here. We got about 55 degrees. We got 12:54. Here comes this boat. This boat's just cruising around the harbor. We'll get a great view of this boat going by here. Yeah, thanks for tuning in here. Yeah, thanks for listening. That's why I make a point to talk about this, because I know some of my followers might be tired of hearing every time I talk about the Melungeons and the indigenous history that was erased and not discussed, and we didn't learn it. And you might not be aware of it. I wasn't aware of it. For years, when I would try to research, I didn't understand how it happened. It was erased. we would learn about the Trail of Tears, but it would be like a paragraph. It wouldn't talk about Andrew Jackson. And I like John Meacham. John Meacham's an historian, but again, since he's part of the American culture, John Meacham wrote a 1,000-page biography on Andrew Jackson, and I own it, and I read the whole thing. And even though Andrew Jackson's administration was responsible for the Trail of Tears, not only for the Cherokees, but for the Choctaws, the Chickasaws, the Creeks, and they tried to force some of the Seminoles. A lot of the Seminoles resisted and moved to Florida and resisted until the 1860s. But anyway, John Meacham spends about 2 pages on the Trail of Tears. I thought he at least should spend a chapter or at least like maybe 30 pages on it. No, he totally glosses over it because it's not important. To him, it doesn't matter because we want to act like this was a vast empty continent, and the westward expansion, we just claimed land that no one was living in. It was fought for. It was a war of conquest, fought over for 400 years of resistance. And the real Americans weren't considered Americans. It's even in the Constitution. The Indians are mentioned in the Declaration of Independence as allies of the King of England. It's because some of them were, but not all of them were. Because of the trading, the Cherokees, like, they sided with the British. They made the wrong decision. They were punished by it because the Americans seized some of their land because they know they were allied with the British during the Revolutionary War. The Iroquois had the same problem, but it's not all the Iroquois. The Cayuga helped out the Americans, but a lot of times there would be a rebel band of young warriors that would resist and attack the white settlers, and the white settlers couldn't get to them because they would run and hide in the mountains or the hills. And so what would the Americans do? They would attack the village with the old women and the children and the old men, and they would burn the village because they couldn't get the warriors who were hiding out. And it was horrible, you know. And there was atrocities done by the Native Americans against the Americans. Of course, it was horrible, you know, and we got to acknowledge it. But we're beyond it now. Things are better now. We should appreciate and celebrate it. And if you have Native American heritage, you should be proud of it. We should talk about it and not make stereotypical statements. Thanks for listening here. And here, Nature Museum, we're back to Fullerton here. So thanks for listening here. Diversey Harbor here. Got 1258 here. So we'll wrap this up. I'll try to get us over to the North Pond again. Thanks for tuning in here. We'll try to, maybe after 5 tonight, we'll come on TikTok and we'll walk up to Belmont and Sheffield. Sheffield and Belmont, they're having a Memorial Day street festival. That'll be an easy thing for us to go up there. And then tomorrow we'll head downtown, or we'll head to Pilsen and check out the Mole de Mayo de Mole Fest. And that's on 18th Street. And then there's all kinds of stuff happening downtown. Like I said, the Suenos Music Festival, Spirit Lake Massacre in Iowa, and the Abbey. I'll look into that. I don't know that off the top of my head. Thanks, Charlie, for listening there. Yeah, they separated from the real heritage there. I'm glad you're tuning in, all these people. Cherokee, Iowa, old hospital. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, thanks everybody. Thanks for tuning in here. Appreciate the audience here. And no, I don't think any of it should be erased. Yeah, we got to talk about the good, bad, and the ugly. All Native American history is American history too, and African American history is American history. Women's history is American history. You know, there's so much of that we gloss over as well. And you know, we make a token month, but it should be included with everything else. So I'm trying to help out here. And it's not part of any left-wing conspiracy or anything. We're just trying to, you can challenge any of this stuff, you know. You can have your own opinion. This is just my channel, so this is what I'm going to talk about. Here's the water fountain. I'm going to get a drink of water here, so I'll show you look, it looks like a parking lot. It's a parking lot for boats. That's what most harbors are. They're parking lot. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, you're good. I was going to get a drink of water. I waited too long. Let's see here. So hey, thanks everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna sign off here. I'm gonna get me a drink of water. So have a good rest of your Friday here. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you after 5 tonight on TikTok. So if you like this, you follow me on YouTube. Feel free to follow me on TikTok. I'm on multiple platforms in case I get banned. And thanks everybody for your continued prayers for Anita's father who had a stroke, and Shauna's mother-in-law, and everybody else is dealing with afflictions. We'll catch you later. Have a great day. Enjoy this way. Yeah, see you everybody. Yeah, we'll talk to you later there, Michael and Denise and XGGSNIFFA. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you later. Thanks a lot.